Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of YLA Talk to 𝐤𝐡𝐨𝐮𝐥𝐝. Today we are going to touch on this topic, whether it's EC or condo. Right, so Roy, recently I met a client that insisted that they wanted to buy an EC because now the EC is very hot, there are very limited supply. So they wanted to buy a 1.5 million EC. But surprisingly, we did a calculation, right? To be able to afford 1.5 million EC is harder than being able to buy a 1.7 million condo and still have some reserve funds. Surprising, right?
Very surprising indeed. This is very common among buyers because they usually think that buying an EC and buying a condo, the calculation is the same. But in terms of loan, how much the loan they can get is actually very different. So that's why I think later on you actually share with them more about the calculation you do for them. Right?
Later I'll show you the breakdown that I do. But usually if it's this kind of cases, right, when your clients ask you EC or condo, how would you advise?
Okay, so I think I split into two categories. The first timers as well as the HDB upgraders.
Okay.
For the first timers, right, I think they have to take into account the timeline. Because in terms of timeline wise, EC versus condo is very different. For EC, you are looking at a building period about 4 to 5 years, 3 to 4 years, plus a 5 years minimum occupation period. Whereas for a condo, you'll be looking at the 3 years seller stamp duty. So it really depends on the individual family's profile on how quickly they need a house as well and how much time they are willing to hold onto the property. So in terms of timeline wise, they have to consider, because for EC you still have to stay a minimum of 5 years before you can let go of the property.
And then 5 years starts from your key collection.
Right. Whereas for condo,
the 3 years mark, it starts from the time that you sign the agreement.
You exercised it. Yeah. So that is in terms of the first timer.
Okay.
The timeline wise. So for first timer wise, right, I would say that EC is a very good stepping stone. Why is that so? Is because you can see that they literally just skip away the HDB and then they enter into the private market directly. So
and they still get grants.
Exactly.
If their income is below.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's below below 16k. So grants is one thing to take note, and because it's also a subsidized housing, they can also expect something a little bit cheaper off the market comparing to new launch condos. So it's easier for first timers, but the catch is the down payment issue. For first timers, they always have the problem of the down payment issue. So if that actually successfully helped like a few first timers clients to how they can actually move into the EC market. Yeah, so that's for the first timer wise. And then second, EC is actually more catered towards the HDB upgraders. Why is that so? Is because firstly, the first BTO that they stayed in, they already make a first pot of gold. So from there, they can actually move their cash proceeds from their BTO to their EC very comfortably. But the only thing they need to take note is the resale levy. So if you don't want to pay your resale levy, for instance, I said that previously you stay in a 5-room flat, your resale levy is about 45k.
Yeah, in cash.
Yeah, in cash. So this will actually eat up into your cash proceeds. So if you don't want to pay that, then maybe a condo is a better choice for you. Yeah, and then I think earlier on, Yvonne, you mentioned about the calculation between the 1.5 million and all. So maybe you want to share with the audience here, how you actually work through them.
Alright,
Yep.
so this is actually a real case study that I have serving a current client right now. So when I first met them, they also own a current BTO right now, so they are thinking of upgrading, right? So of course EC is the next best option because it's the natural progression to the next house. Yeah, so let me just show you how it works. Okay, so for profile of this client is a HDB upgrader, so combined income is roughly about 15k. Their total loan tenure they can still get is max loan tenure of 30 years. Alright, so today if they buy an EC have a deferred payment scheme and normal payment scheme, but they are going for a deferred payment because they don't have a place to stay. Right, so if you go for a deferred payment scheme, purchase price is at 1.5 million. Stamp duty is about 44,600 plus legal fees, and they are taking bridging loan. All this can cover up to 80%, right? So total cash down payment, at the onset they already have to pay 200k of cash at the start. Okay, and then the resale levy is also 40,000. So in total, the cash down payment is 240,000. Okay, so currently I've calculated how much OA they have and how much cash on hand savings they have. I'm gonna deplete everything. So this is the calculation versus today if they are looking at something that is upgrading to a condo, a private condo, right? So at 1.7 million. So after they sell their house, they are looking at getting out cash proceeds of 167,000. Not the best compared to some of the previous episode. We actually did a cash proceeds of about 200. 200,000. So this is about 167,000. After sales OA together combined is about 340,000, which is quite good. However, total cash down payments, right, based on a 1.7 million property plus stamp duty, legal fees, mortgage, and full loan, able to get full loan, that cash down payment is about 140,000, which is 100k lesser than owning an EC, right? So total reserve funds are basically what they have from their savings, and then I use their proceeds, right, plus their cash proceeds, right, minus away their down payment. I still factor in 50k of rental cost, they still have 97,000. And this 97,000, right, so long as both my clients are working, it can last them for the next 3 years. So when we actually saw these calculations, right, it actually shocked them because like EC is cheaper, but why do they have to fork out more instead of compared to if they were to buy a condo? So I think this is actually a very good illustration to support whatever that you just mentioned, right? So if you are looking for whether a condo or EC, right, end of the day, a lot of things depends on your calculations, also your finances. It's important to do everything at the start to calculate properly also, because you don't want to land yourself in a situation where when you're at the lawyer's office, you have to pay the down payment, right? Then you get the shock of your life. Some of the other factors to choose condo or EC, right? I think a lot of people always say EC always make money, then condo doesn't necessarily always make money, right? I think one of the important things to note is also when you are applying for an EC, you are using this thing called the mortgage servicing ratio. So it's follow HDB rules. Yeah, but after your EC turns 5 years, after the 5 years MOP, it transits into a semi-privatized condo, which means that the loan quantum actually increases. It is based on TDSR of 55%, total debt servicing ratio. So, I mean, for upgraders or first-timer, that gives them a big, huge step for their property to have another rise in value. Yeah, but end of the day, it still really depends on finances and also like what is your plans, because they can be locked in for another 8 to 10 years, about there, right? Yeah,
so I think on that also, you can also stay tuned to our next video, because I'll be talking more about how we can actually choose a condo, whether is it EC, how you can choose which project, and also which area to look at, and which one makes more money, whether is it a 5-year mark or the 10-year mark.
Okay, I think it's pretty much about this. So whether it's EC or condo, end of the day, still importantly is about sitting down and then really doing the calculations. We have cases where EC is very comfortable, but we also do have cases where EC actually deplete all their savings and their CPF savings also. So do your own research, speak to people. So long as you know what you're getting yourself into, you are safe. I think that's pretty much about it. Anything else to add?
I can see why your clients love you so much, because of the depth of the research you actually do for them in terms of number.
Time. Okay, I think that's all we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.